Welcome into the Scene Project Sports Network. I am your host, Bubba Startz, and we are now here for 789, our weekly baseball show. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Big B. B, welcome in. I don't know why I can't hear you. Well, dip out, come back. We'll try it again. And our second co-host, Shady Grady. Shady, can you hear me?
I can hear you. What's good?
All right, I can hear you too. Sweet.
We're good.
This is what we get trying to change streams in the middle of
Hey, we're good. We're similar to baseball this week. Nobody knows what's going on.
No, well, it's great to be here talking ball. Took last weekend off as we did that. Got in. Do we got B?
Oh, you got me now?
There he is.
We got you now.
All right.
Got you, man. Appreciate you guys being here with us. Obviously, most of the world has been watching the Masters as we have all weekend. We just came off a stream with the Scratch Project, our new golf show, recapping Rory McIlroy's back-to-back championships at the Masters. But this show is all about baseball, and things are starting to heat up as we get into the middle of April now. It's crazy that we're already this far into the season.
Yeah.
Yep, 2 weeks in, it goes by fast because there's games every day, until the All-Star break when the whole league takes off. But yeah, definitely looking at the standings right now, got some tight races. Granted, 2 weeks in, so not a lot to be said on that.
Yeah.
No, and we talked a little bit about, after that first weekend of the season, what can be done. Everybody was out on skis because of one poor performance. Aaron Judge doesn't know how to hit a ball because he had an 0 for 5 day. And I feel like as things go on here that we are, you're starting to see positive trends and guys starting to come out of it a little bit. Michael Busch for my Cubbies came out of an 0 for 30 slump today with a big RBI single that ended up tying the game off a throwing error later in the play. So there's yes, you want to get off to a hot start early in the season, but is there are you sure? I'm never sure about anything, Angela, to be perfectly honest. So is there, do you want to get off to a hot start? Yeah, but nobody starts out the season 16-0, right? I think most teams, if you're sitting at double-digit wins right now, you're in that 10-6 or a little bit better. You're feeling okay. It's more about how does the team look, right? Even if you're not winning games, how is the pitching coming out looking? How are hitters swinging the bat? Are you able to manufacture runs? Playing some small ball maybe early on before the air gets hot and the ball starts jumping off these bats.
Yeah. Right now.
Oh, go ahead, Grady.
I was going to say, Big B, I'm looking at the standings right now. So 2 teams have 10 wins. The Dodgers and the Padres. Other than that, everybody else is floating around 9, 8, 7, 6. And then you got the White Sox.
Well, and that's the thing is last year the White Sox, I think, had 2 wins by this time. They got 6, so they're 4 games better. But that National League Padres, I mean, that's going to be a battle all year between them two. They got 2 of the nicest rosters, pitching staffs all around.
Well, they're keeping stats for Mason Miller based on strike. They're not even hitting the ball. I think 16 out of 21 batters have struck out this season.
Yeah. So, I mean, my Twins are kind of surprised right now, 9-7. Just came off of a 4-game sweep of the Tigers. I think 2 out of 3 over the Blue Jays, which in fact, they're like 26 games in Toronto where they've hit a home run straight. So that's impressive for them.
Twins need to move across the border.
Well, some people say Minnesota is in Canada, so I mean, just make it official, I guess. But
what's crazy is that yes, and obviously Minnesota shares a border with Canada, but in Minneapolis, you are still like 6 hours away from there.
Yeah. Yeah. We're still 6 hours, but just look at it. I mean, the Yankees are doing Yankee things. They're at 8-7, Tampa at 8-7, Baltimore at 8-7. Baltimore's been battling some early injuries, and Bubba, you talked about, trying to get off to that fast start. Some teams I think have to just kind of play it day by day and just get the kinks worked out and stuff like that. And then I think June, July is when they want to get hot and stay consistent. And that's one thing with baseball. Early on, you just want to be consistent.
Sunday Night Baseball happening right now on NBC. What?
Wow, really?
Yeah, this is wild. I feel like
I woke NBC Peacock.
Maybe they didn't get their Masters pick, so they're like, baseball it is.
Well, the thing is you got money thrown out there, you can get a game on the network or something.
Yeah. Well, you know what? As attention becomes more and more divided, and if the Twins have another stinker of a year like they did last year, we might be their only option. So keep growing. That's the plan. I'm just kidding. Shout out to all of our Braves personnel and front office people that have been following the show now. We're just joking, but we're also very serious about covering this team and continuing to shine a positive light on your organization. So shout out to the Twins. We love you guys.
We love ball.
So yeah, I guess I'm looking at Shady's Braves here are up 3-0 early on Sunday Night Baseball.
Speaking of Shady's Braves, the other night had a little scuffle. The funny thing is I turned it on and I think it was the Braves.
You're right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I turned it on right as that was happening, so I didn't see exactly what happened. So Shady, what caused that?
So Jorge Soler bombs away. He's having a pretty good start to his year. But Reynaldo Lopez and Jorge Soler don't really have the best of relationships. But when you hang an 89 mile an hour changeup 6 times in a row and this guy just keeps hitting it out, I mean, it's kind of, we can't blame Jorge Soler. So Lopez has had 6 bombs hit off of him. Well, number 7 or number 6 left the park in the first inning. So by the 3rd inning, he had hit him. And then by the 5th inning, he threw like way over his head. It's like 98 miles an hour. So gets the ball back, and Jorge hadn't even put the bat back up yet, and he's jawing at him. And here's the thing. All my baseball people watching, y'all know when this happened, y'all saw this. What did the catcher do? Nothing. The catcher's supposed to tackle Jorge to not kill Lopez, but catcher didn't do nothing. Catcher was like, "Hey, man, why are you throwing at him?" So in the midst of all this, they didn't grab Jorge, which was a bad idea. So this Clydesdale of a human's being starts running at Reynaldo Lopez, and I don't know how he only got 1 game. Lopez got 1 game. Soler got like 5 games, but Lopez used the ball as a weapon. Like he clocked him in the helmet with it. So, and then Walt Weiss tackles Jorge Soler and takes his side.
Walt Weiss? Really?
Yeah, he's our manager.
Wow. That little guy is still sticking around and trying to tackle people. All right.
It's pretty old school. Yeah, that really happened. Yeah, and the Braves are good. They're doing fine, but the pitching staff is just tattered. I mean, thank God for the farm system, but I mean, how many kids can you go through before we run out of kids, guys?
Right.
Welcome to Atlanta.
Yeah. Well, and the problem is that coming from that they're just not accustomed to playing. It's the attrition, right? Like you can get these guys up and they can throw some good games, but when you're not used to performing that much and your body's just not as mature, right? You're bringing in a 22-year-old kid, and that's why baseball is, I think, among the pro sports, definitely an older man's game. You have you got to figure out a way to maybe not throw your hardest, right? You're figuring out that pace, and I think for guys when they're coming up, well, not so much anymore, right?
No, you're right. It's a happy medium is what I'm saying. It is
right. Right. It's tough to find, to know that you can dig deep and throw maybe a mile or two, an hour faster when you need that. But being able to say, hey, I'm comfortable, throwing this ball this many times and I could pitch every third day. Right.
Yeah.
For some of these relief, in a relief role or every day. I mean, some of these guys,
everybody.
It's incredible. It's incredible. And just the way pitchers are being used now. And we kind of iterated a little bit of that in the first show. And I think we're going to touch on it continually as it continues to evolve. I mean, to the point where they had to change the rules, right? That like you have to face, is it 3 batters that you have to face now coming in as a reliever?
Yeah.
It's just such a different game than it used to be. But I think you ultimately get a better product. I mean, I'm looking at, and granted it's early, right? But the NL Central standings are there's a game. There's 2 games separating your top from the bottom. So you don't have any. That NL Central is going to be tough, especially with the Pirates really coming out and overperforming. Crazy to watch Brandon Lowe. He just got a new contract this week, right? Goes out as 2 home runs today, one of them being a grand slam, albeit in a loss for the Pirates as they're facing off against my Cubbies. And the Cubs come out with some late inning heroics to take it. But you got the Brewers and Cardinals both at 8 wins, the Cincinnati Reds at 9 wins, who showed a ton of improvement last year as well in that NL Central. I think that's going to be one of the toughest divisions to come out of. Because when you go out west, you're going to have a battle between LA and San Diego, but one of those teams is probably going to be the wild card, right? Or if they don't, you know what I mean? If they're not getting in out of their division, they're probably the first wild card spot. So you're looking at the entire NL Central essentially competing for that champion because it might be your only route in to the playoffs, right? So pretty incredible to watch how this early part of the season is playing out. Looking at the standings in the AL Central, where the Minnesota Twins are, don't quite have a share of it. We'll see how the Cleveland game goes tonight. If Cleveland loses tonight, the Minnesota Twins are tied for number 1 in the division. Absolutely incredible. I know a lot of Minnesota fans have been clowning about it a little bit, because this game, how many games did they lose last year? 90?
Yeah, somewhere around there. I can look quick here. I got the
so to see them up and returning, and we went to a game not last year,
92.
but 2 years ago. So obviously the city of Minneapolis and Minnesota Twins fans in general are dogging their team a little bit early on here as they're having success, assuming that it won't last, but you never know. You never know in this league and what you can get. Hey, Pods, welcome over, man. Appreciate you tuning in here on our 789 baseball show. We get together every Sunday. Talk
how
a little
old is
ball.
Pods? Alex, how old are you?
Pods is a young man, maybe not as young. How old are you, Pods? I forgot. I know we just talked last week.
Because here's some news. Here's some news. Speaking of the Pirates, I forgot about this. This was huge news this week. The Pittsburgh Pirates gave $140 million to Connor Griffin, shortstop.
Oh, that's right. Connor Griffin got the big track. Pods is 30.
19 years old, gave him $140 million. Never played but 1 game, maybe 1 game. I don't even think he played a game in the MLB by that point. So that's never been seen before. You don't give people $140 million that not even made it to the clubhouse yet. Pittsburgh's all on it, baby. I feel you, Pittsburgh. Stand up, Pat.
Pods is 30, Shady, so he's a little closer to your age.
Rep it, dog. We wear it well, right? We need to
get one of you do. I'm not going to tell you which one.
That's why we are talking about how baseball is pretty much going to be in a strike year, at the end of this year, because of that contract. I'm not even saying the contract, but the guy hasn't even taken a major league at bat, and he impressed you that much, and you're going to throw out that type of money towards him. I mean, props to him.
That is a weird idea there, B. Do you think that MLB teams are worried that Savannah Bananas could possibly comparably pay them for a season and maybe keep them for 2 if the strike continues? Live Golf does have a lot more money than that. But I'm saying, do the Savannah Bananas rival that money? They've been selling out football stadiums for a year.
Wow. You know what? I didn't even think about this.
And that guy is a businessman.
Oh yeah, he's a business guy.
Him and Scott Morris.
Yeah, if you guys haven't gone to a game yet, try to go. I went last year. It wasn't the banana, or it was the other two teams, not the Bananas, but it was a fun time. The Saints Stadium was packed. People standing room only. I got my lottery ticket in for this year when the Bananas come in, but
when I was on tour, B, they played at the Superdome. If I would have planned things and I would have known better, I probably would have been at that game. The guy that we ended up doing the award show with was actually there. If I would have had things planned like this much better, I would have been at the Superdome watching the Savannah Bananas. But yeah, you talk about a guy that understands what fans want. And you don't have, because the game has changed, and because you had a couple of strikes in MLB already that have hurt the product.
That last one was about serious.
Almost killed the league, right?
Yeah.
And
I also think it did kill the league.
He would have gave that Pirates money to Skeens personally. I think Skeens is getting he's getting a truck too. So
yeah. Well, that's the thing is everybody, if they don't sign Skeens, everybody's already talking. Where's he going to go? Dodgers, Yankees, Baltimore, Braves, somewhere around there, And that's one thing, I know it's a business, but back in the old days, man, everybody stayed where they're at. There was hardly any movement, unless you got traded or, stuff like that. There's no commitment on both sides of the field, I guess, with the players and the ownership,
Yeah, I kind of agree. I don't know. It's tough, man. I mean, the game evolved so much. And it's an old game.
But that would be something that Savannah Bananas took big advantage of the strike if it happens to get their league going.
That's an interesting.
Well, I've referenced it a couple of times, but what people want is that a freaking game off of Futurama. They want everyone jacked up. They want to see the big hits and the crazy trick plays. And
Power up.
That's what makes it exciting.
But the weigh-in before the first pitch. I mean, I know they did Sarah every once in a while, and I don't know if it's at every game, but they have a baby of the day game. They bring it out and they hold it up like Simba, and stuff like that. But honestly, it was a fun game to go to. I hope to get tickets for this year at Target Field. So, but
if Cody joins in here in a minute, that would be a question for Cody because he's arena. That's not necessarily NFL, but super successful in our environment. We don't have an alternative because Pods was right. The only competitive alternative would be Mexico, Dominican, or Korea, Japan. But yeah, that's a pretty the Bananas good.
They could. And if baseball does go on strike, what's the next closest thing would be, okay, now we're going to go watch a bunch of town ball players, just to get our baseball fix. I mean, Cannon Falls Cannon Falls has a pretty good amateur team here, but it's just not the same. But yeah, Savannah's jumping in would be pretty interesting.
Yeah, well, and I think what it is that baseball is exciting no matter who the players on the field are, right? The stadium experience, the ability to take your small children to the game and to share, it's about the experience. And I think that is what the Bananas and that league and everything that they're doing have really embraced, is delivering on the fan experience. And, we talked a little bit about, Ted Turner's new stadium and everything they've added around there. There's only so much you can do to the product on the field. And I feel like some of the changes that they've made, and now with replay and ABS and everything in there, that while you're trying to make the game more competitive, you're taking a lot away from the fan experience, right? And you are creating something that is a little untenable because you have competition coming out now, and your competition are these smaller teams, right? The teams that we're interested in covering, whether it's the St. Paul Saints or anything. It's easy to go get your fix, and it's a lot easier to, when the game is 19-3 in the fifth, to say, I only spent $15 on these tickets. You're not getting MLB tickets for no $15, and then you had to pay for parking, and it was $13 for a damn hot dog, and like, so they've really done themselves a disservice, and I think you turned a lot of fans off. That last strike really turned a lot of people off. The COVID years in between drove a lot of people away. It's a tradition that is bent on the tradition continuing year after year after year. So anytime that you have breaks in that, people tune out. It falls out of their normal, the repertoire of their summer, right? Oh, we go to a game every year. And then, well, once that streak is broken, right, and you didn't go last year, then you're like, I guess we don't really have to go every year, right? And then you end up not going at all ever again. And it just being an older sport. So, and it's sad for the baseball fan that I am to see the league suffering, but also there's not a lot of sympathy because they've done it to themselves. So,
And one thing that is kind of disappointing is a couple years ago, I think it was, me and my son went to a Saints game, and the year before they didn't have the netting all alongside the baseline, like the MLBs, and they did, and I'm just like, really? You guys put netting on? I mean, I understand the safety. Don't get me wrong. Be safe. I get it. But it was just disappointing to see that, because we had front rows tickets and stuff like that. And it was just like, are you serious? I mean,
yeah, you can't take a glove, man. It's a weapon. No more gloves in the stadium.
Yeah, no more gloves.
That's a weapon.
Yeah.
You never seen what's that guy's name? Zach Hampel? Get out of here, Zach Hampel. Zach Hampel ever watches this stream, we'll get him. We'll get you, Zach. We'll get you.
Obviously the MLB has its own problems, and it's part of it is the 162 game season and trying to pay costs on a stadium for 81 home games a piece. That is 81 days that you have to pay the staff, and you have to pay the grounds crew and the people that are working in the concession stands, and you're trying to make all your money back on maybe a handful of sellouts possibly during the year. And for the teams at the bottom that are not consistently bringing in big crowds, Minnesota, I'm sure their attendance is always in the freaking bottom half of the league, because you spend the first 2 months where you're like, well, it could snow today. So, no different than South Dakota. It was 80 here today, but it was 40 3 days ago, right?
Yeah.
2 days ago, it was 40 degrees. So I'm not trying to go out there and do this. I think it would help, Alex. I honestly, and shout out to Pods tuning in with us. I think you're right. Thanks, I think they have to do something. Shortening the season. I don't feel right now, nothing is off the table, right? Because you got to figure it out. You have to figure it out. You can't have this season that starts in March and goes all the way through to November at this point and expect to maintain everyone's attention when you're not putting out a product that is as good as the other professional leagues out there. And now you have other sports entertainment leagues like the Savannah Bananas that are cutting into your market share. You got to figure something out.
I mean, what if they, and I guess I was kind of opposed to it during the COVID year, but what if they brought in scheduled doubleheaders and only made them 7 innings, like on a Sunday or maybe a Wednesday, doubleheader? Maybe Wednesday wouldn't work, but a scheduled doubleheader and only make it 7 innings. I mean, I know some people say, well, that'll, alter the record books here and there and stuff like that. But what do you guys think of maybe something like that?
That would be a large. I mean, Savannah Bananas and Cosmic Ball could probably get away with it for a while, but as a guy who played it all the way through, when you're 16, even 14, I mean, I was there. Shit, man. It was 2005, guys. We didn't have a whole lot of regulations. So coach was letting Grady throw 150 pitches. It was not unheard of for the 14-year-old. They called me rubber arm. It's not normal. That's like the words that adults use. Hey, he's got a rubber arm when abuse is happening. That's what's going on. But I don't know. It's hard to say because I always wanted to go 9 innings just to see how it would turn out. And then once you do get to go 9 innings, it is different. I would agree with shortening it down, but I mean, all of that it goes down to league and stuff like that. I don't know about necessarily that much shorter, maybe 120 games, but then you come to the question, do you go 7-7-7 in the playoffs? Because they do the long form playoffs too.
Yeah.
But really, the thing I think it is it's the time, how long baseball takes. People cannot keep attention that long anymore because it's not fun. Between TikTok, social media, and everything, it's instant gratification. So baseball's out on that one. You're not going to get the romance unless you're really like into it. But I think if you would add to the pitching staff. I mean, you got plenty of rookies. If you want to move them up and down, you can. But once again, as a person who's played baseball, if you think you've seen the hardest throwers in baseball right now, they're buried in single A, low single A, and nobody knows their name. Because that kid can throw 106. He's just never been radared, and he only throws 1 out of 10 as a strike.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they have them. The system's big. Just open it up. Just open the system up. Because, like, AAA is almost as good as MLB. It's not the stadium and everything, but if you've been to a AAA game, you kind of know what I'm talking about. Because there's guys that are up and down.
Yep.
Well, and I think that the talent level across the team – and it's not as high, right? You're seeing some guys that are that talented, but Podge chimed in here. I played baseball from the time I was 7 till I was 15. Doubleheaders suck for everyone because it sounds shorter, but it's not. Hell no, it's a long day. All I played was doubleheaders all summer in Legion ball. Our coach was real good and got us playing. And we played so like post 22 in American Legion ball, especially out here, is like one of the tops. They've won a ton of national championships. They're in Rapid City, South Dakota. So when we would play them, we would play like their freshman team or their split squad. That was which was like the JV split with the freshman team. We beat them one time. And I come from a small town, small program. We were literally pulling guys that had never played baseball before to come out and to step on the field with us just so we could field a team. So no, I played nothing but double headers, man. They are long days out there. You know, you think it's hard to hold your attention for 2.5 hours, which I think they got the average down to now. Try doing it for 5 hours. Right. Yeah. It's crazy. And the way that they do the double headers in the MLB is that they kick everyone out of the stadium and then bring them back in. Like, why not just give everyone 2 for the price of 1 on that?
Well, and wasn't Ernie Banks's quote, you know,
or
something
for the price of 2?
Always want to play 2, let's play 2 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was,
But I mean, you know, we talk about the price of stuff. I mean, Bubba, I mean, what are the Twins the closest pro team to you?
Yeah, but that's where we would go. I'm about as far away as I am from the cities to Kansas City.
Okay. But I mean, if you were to want to go to a baseball game, you're like, okay, now I have to think about travel. I got to think about a hotel room. Do I want to come back? Do I want 1 game or 2 games to make it worth my while? You know, and then the price of the tickets, and then of course you got to get something for the little ones. You know, and you know,
no,
so
you don't.
Well, you don't have to,
ball, right? Yeah, I got a ball thrown to me out of the bullpen last time. We were lucky to get that. Although first inning, second batter when we were out there, we were right in the left center power alley. So B, you know the stadium out there, the bullpen is out in the outfield out there, kind of in the power. We were right along that walkway, closest there, and the rest of the family took those seats in. So I'm like dead left center, and oh gosh, Dan, I'm thinking it was shortstop for the Twins.
Oh, when?
Yeah, when?
Just 2 years ago. Big name that came
Oh.
over. Their big free agent signing.
Oh,
Correa?
Carlos Correa?
Yeah, Correa hits one, and it's coming right at me. Like, I played outfield my whole career. So as soon as it comes off the bat, I'm like, come on. It's coming right here. Landed like 3 rows in front of me out of the park, but close.
Oh,
So we got this last year
Nice.
at a Cubs
Harrison
game.
Bader.
Yeah, Harrison
Yeah.
Bader. So the way we got this was we went to the Cubs Twins game, as we've done the last couple of years, and the guy we go with, he's buddies with the Twins equipment manager. So he told him that he would have a bag of goodies for my son. And we're like, okay, cool. So the bat broke in the middle of the game, and I'm like, hey, text him, just jokingly, say, hey, we want that bat. And at the end of the game, he brought us the bat. So that was a big talker when we took the light rail. Everybody's like, oh, you got the bat. How'd you get that? And so we told him, and, so, yeah, I was hoping to get it signed this year, but, of course, Bader got traded, 2-3 weeks after that game. So
Yeah.
we'll have to figure out some way to get him this.
That's why they traded him. They're like, you gave that bat to who?
Yeah.
Here's your ticket out of here.
Yeah.
Pod's had a comment. I think it's time for Rob Manfred steps down. I think baseball needs new blood. It needs new ideas. You've been introducing some of these things. The problem is that you're like 4 years behind the NFL or the NBA implementing things of a similar nature. You're too slow to react. You're too worried about the tradition of the game. You haven't been forward enough about moving things out there. You're too worried about pissing old fans off or whatever, or the owners or whoever. The reality is, if you shorten the season, I think you would have a better opportunity to sell the games. It makes each game more valuable in the long term, right? And then you lengthen the playoffs, because the playoffs are almost always sellouts. So it puts more of an impetus on teams to not just like struggle through and get the cut of those TV rights, because that's another big thing too, right? Those are going in the can, as nobody's paying for that. These big media companies aren't paying tens or hundreds of millions of dollars for the rights to broadcast your shitty games. They're all just starting their own media companies, right?
Yeah.
So it's changing. And I think the MLB needs new blood. They need someone, and not that Andrew Silver has been perfect in the NBA, but you need someone that's going to be, yes, we have traditions of the league, but also we need to honor these young fans and build new traditions into the league as well. You can't just continue to be archaic and expect to evolve. Exactly, Pods. Exactly what I was alluding to. Even if you short it from the 162 to 120, right? And you take out these 20 games in late March, early April, and you kick the season off next weekend after the Masters, right? Like, that's the move, is to wait till all of this other crap has gone on. You hit the MLB opening weekend and then the NFL draft, right? And you have your weekend. Right now, I just don't feel like opening weekend of baseball is really anything, right? Unless you are just a hardcore fan of a team, that it doesn't have the national, like, outside of the super fan market that like the Masters does. None of us are watching. We barely know who's on the golf course week to week right now, right? But we are all tuning into the Masters. Besides baseball's playoffs, and even I would say just like the World Series, what else are you turning into that has consequence, right? And I think a lot of that is the bloated scheduling, right? 162 games is just a lot to invest in. Like, I'm a pretty big Cubs fan, I feel like, and even me, I'm like, talk to me in July.
Yep, that's where I'm at with you. I love baseball. Opening day, no matter what it is, watch that first game on TV, watch your first, home team, and then it's just like, okay, come back to me in June or July, and after the All-Star break, or around the All-Star break, and I'll see where you're at, and stuff like that. So that's how I always felt, is get me to the All-Star game, and then let the season kick off. So
Yeah, we're going to save this conversation for our NBA show that's going to be kicking off next year, next NBA season. I think we'll start at the beginning of the year and do this, but we are going to touch on this a lot. Not so sure about the NBA. I don't tune in enough, right? Like I grew up in Chicago in the 90s. We turned like our house when the starting lineup started for the Bulls, every light in the house went out. Like it had to be there. And I haven't really like sat down and watched an entire NBA game. And I can't even tell how, even when I went up to the Bulls and Timberwolves 2 years ago, I don't know that I was really like super glued in.
The one thing with the NBA, you know, like you said, we'll talk about it on the NBA show when it comes up, is you just never know who's going to be playing because they got the load management that they do, and you know, so you know, like you know, Bubba, you went to the Bulls game. You know, what if Jordan wouldn't have? You know, I know way past your time, or way past Jordan's time, but that star player didn't play, and that's who you wanted to go see, and you know, and you're still paying, you know, the $50 to go see that guy, and he didn't make the trip.
You bought your tickets when the season started because you circled it like that's the one game I'm going to. Yep. Yeah, and then LeBron doesn't step on the freaking court because he's got old ass knees now and he's only going to play 60 games. You know, it's not fair to the fans, and Pod kind of alludes to that. Load management has killed the NBA.
Hold on, wait a minute. I got to pause. Like y'all just described the entire reason me and my ex in college broke up. Were y'all at the game? I had season tickets. To the Hornets, and they were playing the Heat in 2013. And that's Bosh, James, Wade, Kemba Walker, Cody Zeller, Al Jefferson. I'm like, this is going to be a game. I circled it. I told old girl we ain't going nowhere. It's her, like my birthday, everybody's birthday. Nope, don't worry about it. Gone. Every one of them sat. Every person I named sat the bench. And she got mad, and we broke up because
like you're Pat Riley. Like you sat him. You're like, yeah, I called him and told him, you know what, guys?
No, you wanted to go see LeBron more than me. Duh.
I see you 365 days a year. I want to see LeBron live once. Come on now.
You're going to college to be a brain surgeon. That's LeBron James. Like that's the only time.
That's why you all broke up.
Yeah, it's not a good argument apparently. Sport management major, lady, get out of here.
Oh,
that's the degree you get if you want to be a used car salesman. Oh wait, you sell new ones. That's not fair. I didn't.
I've sold them all, but yeah, I mean, maybe.
Oh,
but yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So am I the only one that
any
votes for
highlights of the week from the Twins besides being in a possible share of first place in the AL Central right now?
Honestly, you know, I'm just impressed with their app, but I got to keep my eyes on. I want to pull up the pitcher's name. What's his full name here? Let's get it. Tad Bradley. 3 starts, 3-0, 1.25 ERA. So, you know, something to kind of watch there for the Twins. Him and Joe Ryan look to be like a nice 1-2 combo if they stay healthy. So that's something to watch. I'm just right now, for me, the highlight is just, you know, that they're winning, that they're playing good ball, that they're not sneaking up the joint. Yes, Royce Lewis is on the 10-day DL already. Buxton, I don't think, was too far behind him if he hasn't. So those guys just have to stay healthy. But overall, you know, watching them take care of Detroit, take care of Toronto, you know, and then I think they get to come home tomorrow and start a homestand. So just, you know, just impressed that they're hanging around.
Yeah, 2 teams that made obviously deep. I mean, Toronto was in the World Series last year. A pretty incredible run for a young team up in Toronto. But, Yeah, it's nice to see the Twins doing okay and being there. Pod says highlight of the week goes to the Los Angeles Angels, Joe Adell for robbing 3 homers, and the Dodgers Max Munch hitting 3 homers, the last one to walk it off. So
yeah,
obviously he's following our West Coast teams. Pods, you may be a valuable asset to this show as well. I'm going to be sending you a link next week.
As long as you don't sit there and just drown me with Dodger talk, I don't care. But yeah, let's talk about Dell's performance there. 3 home runs that he robbed in one game. I mean, you typically might get that once a month or maybe twice a year, but to do that in
I
3
played
games,
for 17 years. I never robbed a home run.
nah, I never got close either. But I mean, just to think of the career highlight and with me collecting cards, I kind of hope they make a card where they show him robbing all 3 home runs.
Somehow. Oh, that's in the making. Yeah,
they gotta have it. I mean, what did he fall into the stands?
Yeah,
for the third one. Yeah, so
the last one. Yeah.
The
most last year was 5. Most robs all last year was 5 by Fernando Tatis.
Okay,
Joe Adell had 3 in one day.
That's crazy. It's almost I mean, the athletic ability to be able to do it is insane. The fact that you had an opportunity to rob 3 of them, right? Like that to me is such a statistically low number to have ones that barely clear that are going less than 4 feet over the fence, right? I mean, the guy probably jumped. Guys got like a 36-inch vertical.
Yeah,
he might save basketball.
It was a high wall. No, it's a high wall. But I think on the first one, he like noticed the wind was blowing in, and he's like, "Oh, this could be a day." And it was just like ball after ball after ball was hit to him, and it was like, "Well, it's gonna die." So I'm just gonna play deep. But
no, that was impressive. And then something I want to bring up, I brought in the chat. I think it was a couple days ago where they had 2 challenges on the same play.
Let's see that.
Oh yeah, if you go into the chat, let me bring it up because I want to remember the teams.
Mason Miller. Padres. Oh, this is what you were talking about off the top then.
Yeah.
16 of 21. They're not even keeping stats on hits anymore with him. Hey, how many people have put it in playoff Mason this year? What?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing too. The number guys are always looking for new ways to break down something.
Yeah, the Cubs had to get past that Padres squad in the playoffs last year, and I hadn't watched a lot of Padres ball before that, but I don't know that the Cubs saw anyone that didn't throw 100 miles an hour the entire time. Everyone on the team throws triple digits. It was crazy.
Ben Joyce hit 105.8 so far this year. So
I watched Billy Wagner throw. We went to an Astros game. My aunt lived down in Houston for a little while, and it's a blur, right? And we were first baseline. So you're watching the ball the entire time, and I was maybe like 11 at the time, right? Playing some t-ball. Yeah, just slinging it. That's the first, in person, that may be the only player that I've ever seen hit 100 at a game in person like that. But it was it's so fast. Fast. And now you're telling me someone threw it 4 miles an hour faster than that, right? Almost 5. It's crazy.
And just to hear that snap of the glove when it hits, so it was
so loud. It was in the old Astrodome too. It was before they built the new stadium. It was cool.
But so in the Red Sox Cardinals game, the batter, the ump called a hits backman, so he starts walking to first. Red Sox challenged it, so they got it called back, reversed, and then the Cardinals challenged that it was catcher's interference,
and put him back on first base.
And put him back on first base.
And they wonder why fans are leaving the stadium because that was a 10-minute break in the action while they're figuring it all out and going back and forth. And, it is what it is. I know they're trying to get it right, But
we want them to get it right too. But I mean, part of it too is baseball is a blink of an eye. I mean, you're going to make mistakes. I mean, we can't have everything perfect, and that's what people want nowadays. They want things to be perfect.
Well, because we have the technology that allows that, and I think we are in the next 5 years going to see that human element in a lot of sports taken away completely. If you have the technology for ABS now in real time to deliver, did that ball hit the strike zone or not? Why do you have a guy back there?
Nope.
Right? If you have the camera systems installed everywhere that can narrow it down to the finest, then you just have 4 umpires behind screens off the field that are making the calls. And maybe you have them out there. Maybe you keep guys on the field for a look, but it's an in the ear thing that just tells them what to call. And, for me,
wait a minute. Is that the wager then? That we get rid of pitch clock and you can get out of the batter's box again? Like, because that's 2 rules they can't do right now. Batters don't be walking around outside the batter's box, and pitchers have a pitch clock. We get rid of those, and they can go back to normal, but we have to use complete camera systems, umps, no more jobs. Y'all got to hit the road. I might honestly be down with that. If we would just go back to bullheaded baseball, no nothing. You'll know it's a strike or a ball. It's going to go bing or dang. That's it. You just go. I might be into that. Poor Buckner, man.
The thing is the games I got to, I haven't even really. I mean, I watched like the first game I went to with the pitch clock. I watched it, but I didn't think it played a factor in it.
I'll give you a hint there on that one. So I didn't know it was a thing either, but that's a rule that we were just taught that from a kid.
Yep.
If you're a pitcher, it's like you need to be back on the mound and pitching again within 10 to 15 seconds because of this rule right here. Everybody that grew up, the shortstop or the center fielder was probably the best player, right?
Yep.
Probably wasn't the smartest kid ever, right?
Right.
Got to keep him engaged. If you're not pitching that ball every 15 seconds, he could be kicking the dirt. He could be doing this. I'm dead serious. We all got that talk. It's like, you got to keep him engaged. All right, so we're going to keep it rolling. I don't care. We'll throw to the batter.
He looks like he's taking a nap. Whip the ball at him real quick.
Exactly. Yeah. Not playing. But I think I'm dead serious. 15 seconds was like a golden rule. You just got to keep going.
Yep.
I think it's moving that direction, which is a shame because of those iconic moments of, the manager storming out and kicking dirt on the umpire and the bench clearing brawls and everything that it doesn't, because when you take that human element, there's no one to argue with. Right. Yeah. And I think you actually speed the game up in other ways. You take away the pitch clock and those things, and you just put it all on the computers and AI and run it and shorten the season. And I think you just do, and I don't think you do incremental change at this point. I think you just do it all in one go. You say, hey, it's a new game. It's a new era. You leave the record books the way they were, and it's MLB 2 now, right? Yeah. It's the new dawn, and you leave those record books where they were, but you start anew. You change the game. You let all of them juice up. You get these guys as big as possible, throwing the ball 114 miles an hour. Let's go. We're
bringing back beer sponsors, cigarettes. Who wants one? Let's go.
Back in there.
Well, you talk about people getting out of the batter's box and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, how would that have affected Nomar Garciaparra and Chuck Knobloch, who after every pitch had to get out of the box, readjust their batting gloves, readjust their stirrups, and tie their shoes, and they get back in, and so.
Nomar.
I forgot about that till you said it. I remember that as a kid now, just flipping the glove and people.
Former Cub, Nomar Garciaparra.
Former Cub. Come on. He played, 1 year there? Come on. I mean, I know you're right. He's a former Cub, but come on.
Bro, there was the argument at one time. It was like a Kobe AI argument of Jeter Garciaparra. Who you got? Because a lot of people picked Nomar.
Yeah, that is a good call.
Yeah, man. Yeah, they sure did. Everybody, man, you loved it. Those were the days, right?
Mm-hmm.
the Red Sox, Yankees, late 90s, early 2000 rivalries, man. Those were epic.
Bernie Williams, Johnny Damon.
Those teams were incredible, right?
They had the big brawl there too. Didn't Pedro throw down
Don Z?
Don Zimmerman, yeah, or kind of sidestepped him maybe.
Down goes Donnie, baby. What are you doing running at Pedro, bro? Are you crazy?
That's at your age, man.
Hey, Don.
Oh, yeah, and that would be the shame, I think, of pulling the thing. It's where we're going, right? You don't introduce the ABS and all the replay and stuff if it's not trending in that direction. It is what it is. The NFL, I think, is going to continue. I think they're getting closer and closer to it. You saw it with the expedited replay this year and the chip in the ball now, right? And on the field, and just you got to get it right, because it tarnishes the record books because of it, right? And not to say that you're not going to have human error. Leave the human error for the guys on the field, the guys who are getting paid millions, and especially in the NFL where you don't even have full-time officials. These guys are all like selling insurance all year long, and then, oh, well, I get a pretty cool job on Sundays in the fall.
Yeah. And I think they're actually possibly bringing back replacement officials this year.
Yeah, there's that talk too. We'll have to talk about that on Vikings.
And I don't think they're going to let it get to that. They're going to say, screw it. Cool. We have this new AI referee system, and that's what we do now, and that's it. And the NFL would be the move. And if the NFL goes that way, all the other leagues then have to follow suit. It is what it is.
Well, I think
one of the biggest companies in the world at this point, right? Like the league as itself is a $1 trillion brand.
Yeah, the only sport I don't think that could go to no officials would be basketball, I think. I don't
know.
I mean, they could probably figure out a way, but
now I didn't know until the March Madness about this whole like in the cylinder rule.
Oh, yeah, that threw me off.
Did you see any of that? So yeah, like if you're up in a guy and guarding a guy, you can't be in his cylinder, they call it. So like up, like pretty much like humping his leg.
If he's here, you can't throw a hand here.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
I saw a lot away from the hoop when they were, a couple of guards, point guard guarding up in there. Doesn't show, but Alec, I'm with you, man. These are some of the greatest moments in sports because of the human element to it. But it's just it's going away. It's just the reality of the game at this point. And if you want to get to the truest form of it, we have the technology to do it now. It's coming. It's around the corner. It is no longer something that's far off. Even a few years ago, they said, oh, well, replay will never be in baseball. And now they're literally replaying. You have an option to replay every pitch, right? So why even mess around? Why let the guy call it ball and strike regardless? It is what it is. And as a hitter, I think it makes the game even better because the hitters have to get better. You have to be your batter eye has to be perfect. Then you can't rely on, well, this guy's got a pretty tight strike zone today. Oh, well, I'm going to get, he hasn't been calling that ball that's, even an inch over the plate a strike today on the outside corner, right? So it's going to change the game, and I think it's going to change it where you want it to, which is on the player development and getting a better on-field product. But I'm probably in the minority here now. It's all right. Times will change, and I think people will come over.
But we heard that argument on how umps called difference when it was you had the AL umps and then you had the NL umps, and this guy calls it this way. I mean, that was back. That was the debate in the 80s and 90s
and all them.
Yeah.
Back in your day.
So there's my son back there mocking me. So
yeah.
Well, guys, we've been on for just about an hour now. Appreciate you guys jumping in with me. Pods, obviously appreciate you coming in, talking some ball, joining us over from the Scratch Project as well. I don't know how many times we'll do that during the year. Well, at least 3 more times as we cover the rest of the major tournaments anyway.
Yeah.
But we get together here every Sunday at 7 p.m., talk a little bit of baseball, covering mostly our favorite teams, mine being the Cubs in the NL Central. Big B has the Twins up in Minnesota. Shady brings us a little bit of that NL East with the Braves, and Pods, who's going to join us next week as our newest co-host out there on the West Coast covering it. So we kind of got all the different areas of the country covered. With that, then we got plenty of stuff to talk about in the league. If you love ball, if you love talking baseball and covering a range of topics, and you want to be involved in the conversation, come and join us every Sunday at 7 p.m. Shady, any parting shots this Sunday?
Hey, big shout out to Rory. Congrats on the win. Cal Raleigh, got to turn it around. Big dumper. Let's go, buddy.
Ooh, KC Royals fan here.
Okay.
Dodgers and Royals. Okay, so you obviously like the color blue. So
yeah. Hey, we got you, buddy.
We got you. B, anything before we let him get out of here?
No, I mean, I'm always excited. I mean, yeah, hopefully Cal Raleigh can get back to form and earn that MVP that he got robbed with last year. Hopefully the Twins stay hot or consistent.
Lukewarm.
Yeah. And in a couple weeks, in a couple weeks, I'll actually be going to the Twins versus Seattle game here. So I may have to hit Shady up to tell Cal Raleigh I need an auto. So
yeah, get an intro. You got that rookie card, B?
I don't know if I have a rookie card, but I do have a couple of Cal Raleigh cards. A buddy of mine, he's a big Seattle fan, so he wants to go. He's the one that wants to try to get that auto. So, but with that being said, we'll definitely see you all next week.
Yep, can't wait, guys. Tune in with us next week, 7 p.m. Central, and we will see you for 789. Till then, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and we will see you next Sunday. Peace.
Hey guys, I just wanted to pop in and tell you about a great new company that we just started working with. Skunked Golf Company out of North Dakota sent us some awesome gear. Man, they got some great stuff, y'all. They got some awesome hats. They sent us some great polo and collared shirts, some t-shirts, skirts for the ladies too, and some sweet visors. Go check them out. Skunked Golf online.